Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, we're going to have some fun. We're going to do some more theory crafting. I've been on a little bit of a theory crafting kick the last week, and we're going to talk about combo Ira. What is that going to look like? What in the current card pool could we do to make it the most consistent it could be while still feeling thematic to the combo keyword? And what can we expect from the Armory deck? We're going to talk about all of that today. I'm going to show you a list, not really a deck tech, just kind of like a reference point for the theory crafting, and also show you a Crouching Tiger list as well. But we'll get right into it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. Feel free to check out the Discord down below, as well as the channel membership and all of that good stuff. So we'll get right into it. Again, this is not a deck tech. This is meant to have a reference point for the theory crafting. The Ira deck announcement was shown at the Pro Tour. It's coming out in July, if I remember correctly. And they showed off that, Ira's going to get an Armory deck, which I think is really, really good. It's one of the most perfect heroes to start people on in the game. It gives you the definition of value, which is flesh and blood, like true value, and understanding blocking versus attacking and the push and pull that flesh and blood gives. So I'm really glad they did that. Also, a card was spoiled in the promo email, I believe. Enact Vengeance has combo 2 for 6, 3 block with no go again. It says if Edge of Autumn or a card with Vengeance in its name was the last attack this combat chain, this gets when it hits a hero, destroy all cards in their arsenal. This is the only new card spoiler we have at this time. And before we get into the list and talk about things, in regards to the Armory deck itself, I'm super curious because the way this reads, it seems like we're going to at least get one more card with the word Vengeance in it. I'm assuming that card's going to have Go Again because it's going to combo with Enact Vengeance. I'm going to guess it's going to be a 0 for 3 Go Again. That's just my thought, because you're going to want to do Edge of Autumn, because you're going to have several plays where either you can pitch a yellow for or pitch a blue for Edge of Autumn and then swing Enact Vengeance, turning it on, which is really nice. A two card 8. Threatening their arsenal, or there's going to be a play where you can do like Edge of Autumn into the Go Again Vengeance for 4 into this Vengeance for 6. Now, whether the biggest thing I think is going to be interesting to see is, like, are we going to get Whirling Mist Blossom combo cards, which would be really interesting because Whirling Mist Blossom was shown in the promo. Now, whether that's just because it's so synonymous with Ira or not, I'm pretty sure Whirling Mist Blossom is going to be in the deck. It's one of Ira's signature cards. It's honestly the signature card for Ira. It's just not as much played. But are we going to get like several play sets of new combo cards that like are more Ira focused? Or are we going to get just Enact Vengeance, a new Go Again, and maybe a new equipment piece, which honestly would be fine. It remains to be seen. But regardless, when it comes to combo Ira with the current card pool, you can't really go too crazy with it. You can't do, like, in my opinion, you can't do like Surging Strike and then put Whelmings in there and all this other stuff, because you have to hope to God that you draw into them correctly. And then those cards are quite literally, again, dead cards, those combo cards, when you don't naturally draw into them, which could be say the same for anything. But you want to keep true to what makes Ira good, which is overrate attacks with her hero ability. The problem with Surging Strike is it's a 2 for 6 Go Again with Ira's ability, which is nice, but then you have to line up the Whelming. And if you don't line up the Whelming, then it's a 2 for 5 Go Again with no technical on hit, which is bad in Ira, essentially. So it's all, interesting with that. So I decided to go with a more kind of meat and potatoes, like a non-flashy version of combo Ira. And my combo card usage is in the blues. One of the biggest things about combo blues and Ira typically is, other than the synergy with Flick Flack and the synergy with Looking for a Scrap, the blues typically are really bad. They don't typically have any combo-esque. You might get lucky and have a Torn a Tempo into a Rushing River every once in a while, but that's about it. And then if you run like a more aggressive Ira, you could run 100 Winds or in Winds of Eternity. But I decided to go with more mid-range-ish approach and try to also give like what I would expect in an Armory deck, other than like Command and Conquers and Censors, when it comes to like natural synergy pieces that make sense for an Ira style and themed combo deck, right? This isn't meant to be like PQ level list. This is meant to what makes the most sense. When I put the list together also, I didn't put in I didn't hedge to fatigue and I didn't hedge to aggressive. I kind of tried to stay true to what Ira is, which is a mid-range hero. For the equipment, nothing crazy. I don't think we're going to get Mask Momentum, obviously, in the Armory deck, but we will get something. It'd be kind of interesting. It might just be a block. I could easily see it just being a one one blade break block or something. Tunic is really good in this list. Vest is useless because Edge of Autumn is not a dagger. It's a sword, so the vest isn't very useful. You could also run Heart and Cross Trap if you wanted to be able to play an Enact Vengeance or Command and Conquer for free at some point for some reason, wherever the case may be. Being able to do different things with that. Breeze Hunter Boots makes the most sense. Dual Threat is not as useful in this list because you can't get that +3 value from its ability, right? Dual Threat is if you've played a weapon this turn, your next attack action card gets +3, and it also has an ability that's flipped. If you play an attack action card this turn, your next weapon attack gets +3. So if you Edge of Autumn into, Dual Threat, there's no point in like swinging a go again attack before because you're not gonna be able to swing with Edge of Autumn again. So Dual Threat, unless you really care about making a finisher come in for like 9, I don't think it's worth it because you're not gonna get the full value out of it. It's basically a 0 for 3 block yellow that also requires you to do a certain play line. Doesn't make much sense, right? So that being said, Pouncing Paw is probably isn't the best bet. Breeze Our Boots probably is our best bet just to kind of get some go again when we get lucky in a pinch. Breaking Scales also makes the most sense. Enact Vengeance, when you couple it with Ancestral Empowerment, can be really powerful. Like you're basically, if you have one card in hand with Breaking Scales up on an Ira, like Enact Vengeance, like if you Edge of Autumn into Enact Vengeance off a blue for 7 and you have one card left in hand, they don't know, like, is that an Ancestral Empowerment or is that a D-React? And if you are threatening essentially 9 damage on hit, destroy their arsenal, that's super powerful, right? So Breaking Scales, I think, is really useful for that. You could run Shuko here or really any arm piece that makes sense for you. But that's where I have for the equipment. I'm hoping they give more Edge of Autumn stuff. I want to see this played. I think it's really, really cool. But getting into the list itself, we're actually going to start from the blues and work our way up because all the combos work in the blues. You don't have much use case for the red combo cards like you would in a Katsu because unless they line up with another red card, you're not getting that overrateness that you want with Ira. And it's if you have a red combo card that you have to naturally draw in order to play an Ira, then all of a sudden, if you don't naturally draw it, you have below rate cards in a hero that thrives off being above rate every turn. And if it's not, then it's a bad hero. So you kind of have to look for your combo cards in your blues, and so we try to make that as synergistic as possible. First one we have is Back Heel Kick combo. If Twin Twisters was the last attack this combat chain, this gets if Back Heel Kick would gain power, and instead it gains that much +1. So, if you have a blue, Twin Twisters, and Back Heel Kick, or even a yellow, if you had like a Bittering Thorns or something like that, and a blue, being able to play, depends on what play line you chose to take, but if you want to do Edge of Autumn into Twin Twisters, you would choose the +1 from, you get +1 from Ira, and then you would choose when it hits your next attack, this combat chain gets +1, so it'd be a 1 for 4 go again. They really don't want to block this. It is a Bittering Thorns like effect, but is it really that useful for them to block out a 4 power for it? And then if they choose not to block it, then all of a sudden Back Heel Kick's coming in for 3. Not world ending, but it does help, and it does continue that value train that Ira's getting. Crane Dance and Fine Center just kind of couple with each other. I don't have Soul Bead Strike in here, but you could if you wanted to. Recoil couples with Head Jab. I think Head Jab's a fine addition to this. It's actually really funny with Recoil. Like if you do a chain and then you end on a Recoil after a Head Jab, you're basically forcing your opponent to either give up some equipment, which is good for you, or block a card, because if they don't block it, then they're going to get rid of a card anyway. So this basically demands some form of a card when coupled with Head Jab. It's really, really annoying. Even Katsus were trying to mess with this a little bit. It's really good in Benji as well. Rise and Knee Thrust has obvious synergy with Leg Tap. Being able to, off of a yellow, you Edge of Autumn, for 1, you Leg Tap for 5, and then you Rise and Knee Thrust for 3. You just did a 3-card 9 with a yellow and a blue. It's technically on rate, right, but not too bad. It's better than what it has been, right? Rushing River has combo potential with Torn of Tempo and Winds of Eternity with 100 Winds. So nothing crazy here, right? This isn't world ending because we can't just slap in Katsu-like combo cards. It just doesn't work that way. When it comes to the reds, again, Twin Twisters, this card, you can look at the art. It is meant for Ira. It's either a 1 for 5 go again in Ira on Chainlink 2, or it's a 1 for 4 go again on hit, basically do what Bittering Thorns does. So basically you have another playset of Bittering Thorns, which is really nice. Torn of Tempo is a 1 for 5 go again. they are pretty obvious on sometimes what cards are meant for who with their art sometimes. Spinning Wheel Kick's just really good with itself, and it has synergy with Flick Flack and a pinch. Razor Reflex. This goes in the place of Dual Threat because, again, Dual Threat's not as useful. This does give +3. It also does work on Edge of Autumn because it says target dagger or sword. So it still has that synergy with your weapon, which is nice. Leg Tap. 1 for 5 go again in Ira most of the time. 100 wins, have some synergy with Winds of Eternity. Flick Flack, Enact Vengeance is easy for this. Command and Conquer, obviously. Censor, Bittering Thorns. And then Ancestral Empowerment is actually really good in this deck because there's only, 3 cards that it doesn't synergize with, which, again, can help you a little bit in certain situations when you're trying to get that +1. Maybe recoil. Maybe they block it with a 1-power attack or 1-power equipment, 1-power block. 1-block equipment, and then you Ancestral Empowerment, all types of stuff, right? Just try to make this as consistent as possible while still staying to the theme of combo. Because again, you can't just slap Katsu combo lines in here. You could, but it's not going to be consistent. I didn't put a sideboard because it doesn't matter. This is just for fun. But yeah, some of the big key non-inclusions, because we're not running daggers. Cut Through is not going to be useful in this deck. Vest is not going to be useful in this deck. Dual Threat is not going to be useful in this deck. It kind of goes back to tried and true mid-range Ira. And I think that barring the Censor and Command and Conquer and stuff like that, I think this is what you could expect potentially from from a list perspective. Maybe not Ancestral Empowerments either. From a list perspective, I could easily see this card, all of these, and most of this. Maybe they go a different direction. I kind of hope they do. I kind of hope the Armory deck has a completely different thought process. Crouching Tiger, Ira was a lot harder. This one I tried to make the best I could. It's a little bit more difficult. You really have to play into just some of the tried and true stuff. Some of the combo cards don't really do as well. It's a lot of the similar stuff. Really, it's just trying to combo with Mauling Key and Chase the Tail. This one you would use Pouncing Paws to have a good Chase the Tail turn. If you start with Biting Breeze, they let it hit. Or you could even have a play off Tunic where it's Biting Breeze into Aspect of Tiger Body, make a Tiger, play the Tiger, pop Paws, play Tail off Tunic, and then play the second Tiger. Could be really nice there. You could also use Shuko to get a little more value. This one's a little bit harder. It's really, I'll link both just for fun, but this is the one where it made the most sense to me. But regardless, again, this was just theory crafting for the fun of it. It's going to be really interesting to see if they're going to go full, a whole new style for Ira and really make it combo or if they're going to, just have some fun pieces. Mask of Many Faces, actually, I put it down here to remind myself. This would be kind of a cool inclusion in Ira. Destroy Mask of Many Faces, name a card. The next attack action card you play this turn gains that name. Just to have a key, Enact Vengeance turn. Maybe you want to play this at the very end of a chain. Maybe you have a blue, a Bittering Thorns, a Spinning Wheel Kick, or something like that, right? Where it's you really want to make the most out of whatever you're playing. You could, pop Mask of Many Faces, name Bittering Thorns and Act Vengeance also, or something like that, and then play an Act Vengeance just to have kind of a pop-off turn. Nothing crazy, but you could do it just for fun. Again, this isn't meant to be a PQ list. This is meant to be theory crafting. But let me know what your thoughts are. I thought this was kind of cool. I might play this list, barring Enact Vengeance, obviously, at an Armory just for fun, just to throw people off. There's also a world where you could just run other good blues, Ripple Away and non-zero cost blues, since you technically don't need those anymore. Whirling Mist Blossom also can go in the deck if you want to have some synergy with that. It all depends on how you want to do it, right? I just try to make a fun, tried and true, consistent combo list. But let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. This is, just thoughts. I'm excited to see where it goes, and hopefully we get some spoilers for the Ira Armory deck before it releases. That would be really fun to see. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. Thank y'all so much for watching this. If you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If not me, it's completely fine. Go to our creator, leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff. Let's get more people seeing this game. And I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.